Y'all should have heard us talking during the break just then. It's Marty McGee on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and the SEC Network, presented by Progressive Insurance. If you're watching on SEC Network, then you see the cover of this book, The Bandana Express, the true story of the 1980 Giles Spartans. Jeremy Haymore is the author. Hey, look who wrote the foreword.
Yeah.
It's Marty Smith. Is that famous JUCO baseball coach?
Famous JUCO baseball coach. We just learned that there's a junior college baseball coach named Marty Smith who won a national championship. And what did Ryan McGee do?
He's a basketball assistant coach somewhere.
Basketball assistant coach somewhere, and apparently
we didn't have him on the show.
There's one over in Ireland.
There's also like a terrorist in Ireland. We'll get into all that later. But listen, I'll let you do the introduction here because I've not had a chance to read it, and you have talked about it on this show before.
Yeah,
who we got?
So it's an honor and a pleasure to bring in Jeremy Haymore, the author of the Bandana Express. Just quickly, so Jeremy spent 15 years researching and writing this book and living the dream and in some ways the nightmare of trying to get a passion project to market. And he was dogged in doing that, and he's done that, and it's an incredibly well reported book. The detail is fantastic. I mean, all the way back to the origins of high school football in the New River Valley that is very important to the people there. In Southwest Virginia, it is a religious experience. And Jeremy's a former high school football coach himself, so he knows ball. So with all that, I say good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us. Walk us through that 15 years and why this specific team, the 1980 Giles Spartans, my high school, my hometown, was important enough for you to write this book when you didn't even go there and you didn't coach there.
Well, thank you for having me on, gentlemen. And I guess it really comes down to the passion I had with coaching and coming up through the ranks in the area there, and always noticing this team on the local sports shows, Giles High School, and they were always running this unique offense, and it always just caught my eye because my dad had played at Narrows. It was after Harry Ragsdale, but had played there, and so he had kind of been the first to introduce that to me, and the seed was planted. But you know, I had an English background with teaching, and I wanted to do a project, and I didn't feel like I had the clout to write a single wing X's and O book myself, but I admired the Giles program and the tradition that they had, and so I called the coach Jeff Williams and asked if anybody had done this project or if anybody had documented it, and he thought it was a great idea. So I started with just a couple phone numbers, and it kind of spread out from there. But as you said, it did take a passion to get to the finish line, with coaching, and just I've had me and my wife had 3 children since I started this project. And, one of the things that I wanted to emphasize was that, to them, my children, was that, nothing worthwhile comes easy. And that's high school football taught me that. And so I wanted them to see that the journey to bring this to life, while it was arduous and took a long time, you never quit, keep on going. And we made it to the finish line, and it's been nothing but worthwhile.
Well, Jeremy, congratulations on the book and on everything. And yeah, Marty and I, we know. I mean, yeah, writing a book is, everybody talks about how hard it is. It's hard, but it's also worth it. In the end, once you. But being a dad, a teacher, a husband, all these things. I always say it's like riding with your arms through a picket fence, right? Trying to type. When do you find, Marty? I love to ask this question of authors. When did you find the time to write? Was it staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning? Was it going and hiding at McDonald's for the Wi-Fi? Like, when did you do your writing?
It was really whenever I could find the time. I remember squeezing in little bits on planning periods at school, but at nighttime, usually would be my go-to area. I know a lot of authors like to get up early and write then, but for me, it was more after everything had settled down, I was able to really kind of put my mind in that space and do some writing then. But, it wasn't, as you said, one of the things I learned, a tip that I picked up along the way was basically when you have these kinds of things going on, you write whenever you can.
Yep.
So sometimes that might have been just doing a little an audio recording of something I thought of driving in the car, and I needed to make a note on my phone, or just squeezing it in whenever I could write a note down and come back to it later. So yeah, it was definitely something that you have to fit in when you can.
Yeah. Hey, there's a whole chapter of the last book I wrote. It was me dictating a story into my phone while I was stuck in Daytona 500 traffic. Because you just do it whenever you can do it, right?
Absolutely.
What will people who don't live in Appalachia and know Giles High School, what will some guy in Des Moines, Iowa, glean from this book that he can take with him that's inspiring and relatable?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because I feel like that it is a story that is appealing to people all over our great country, because there are so many small towns and communities that have a passion for high school football. And I think that just those kinds of themes and really what that brings out in humanity, is relatable all across our great country. Bill Curry, who read and endorsed my book, he always talks about the people you meet in the huddle and how football and sports in general brings people together. And I really held that close to me as I started thinking about how can I make this appealing to people all over, not just in Appalachia, but all over. Football is something that unites. The underdog story is something that brings people together. So I feel like the themes and the ever-present storyline that's relatable to people will come shining through.
Jeremy Haymore joining us, author of the Bandana Express, the story of the 1980 Giles High School Spartans. All right, so Jeremy, I grew up in North Carolina, growing up in the 80s when everybody was running the wishbone. And then I went to college at the University of Tennessee, and I'm like, I didn't know people still ran the single wing. And every single high school in the state of Tennessee still ran the single wing because General Neyland ran the single wing. Why is the single wing the greatest offense of all time?
Well, I mean, that's
deception.
That could fill up your whole hour there about why it's the greatest offense ever. But I just believe that it's something unique. It's an identity that teams can use today to make their program unique. I know in the book I say one of the great quotes that Coach Ragsdale told me is you can't buy tradition. It has to happen organically. And I feel like that's what the single wing offense does for some of those high school teams that still run it. It gives them an identity. It gives them something to rally around. And very much the same way that the bandana itself gave the 1980 team something to rally around, a symbol of hope and something that they could that could really become their rallying cry. So I feel like that it does that in today's game. I think that part of the appeal is that it's a contrarian offense. Not a lot of people are doing it. You do see elements of it, in other offenses, even the college game now today. But the true Princeton style, Giles High School style is still very unique, and I think it's something that people can feel is special.
Yeah, I lost 2 varsity games in my life. We beat the crap out of people with the single wing. Anyway, we'll get you out of here on this, brother. You mentioned Coach Ragsdale. For all of you guys listening all over the country and beyond, Steve Ragsdale was my high school football coach. He is a Virginia High School League Hall of Famer. He is a no BS, do your job and do it all out, be respectful kind of guy. And there are no frills with Coach Ragsdale. And a lot of y'all that have read Friday Night Lights or even seen the movie to a degree, you've seen the Billy Bob Thornton character, Gary Gaines. He was the head coach at Permian in 1988 in the late 80s there, and became this sort of mythical, iconic character. Steve Ragsdale is one of the most important men in my lifetime, remains so today, and is the face of our county. And Jeremy, before we let you go, I want you to just try to describe how reverent other people are towards Coach Ragsdale's influence and impact in Southwest Virginia, period, much less Giles County.
Well, as I interviewed a lot of the other coaches on the various teams that played Giles during the 1980 season, they were all very respectful of Coach Ragsdale. You know, they talked well of him as a person as well as a coach, but just how hard his teams played, how the style of play separated them from other teams.
Damn, that's crazy, dude. Yeah. That is insane that this is on my TV right now. Yeah. Holy cow. Awesome. Sorry,
but
Jeremy.
Yeah, it was, and one of the things is, as I was writing it, I felt myself, knowing I would eventually bring this story to him to read, I wanted to make him proud the same way that I'm sure y'all did as players. You know, that father figure in your life, you want to make him proud. And that's what a football coach means to so many people.
Well, you've done it, son. You have done it. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you this. The greatest compliment I can receive is you're a great father and husband. 1A is you never forgot where you came from. And this book is such a bastion of pride for the people there. And I appreciate you doing it. I know everybody in Giles County, at least on the east side of the county, appreciate you doing it. And I'm sure the west side of the county too, because a lot of those Nares teams with Coach Huffman and Harry Ragsdale, Coach Ragsdale's father, and all those amazing teams, you're also championing them too in this text. So it's a phenomenal book. Y'all go buy it. It's called The Bandana Express. You'll learn a lot about Appalachia. You'll learn a lot about the human condition. And it's just a fantastic story about a fantastic historic team where we're from. Jeremy, thank you, brother. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, guys.
Yep, there you go. And you can buy it now.
Look, we're authors, man.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And McGee and I will tell. Look at that guy.
Yeah.
This was on the internet the other day, and there's an awesome look at that guy.
Oh man.
There's an awesome Facebook page right now. I don't know, dude. They gave us. We didn't get to pick our tie color.
Hey, so you can't. Those that aren't watching on TV, you can see Marty's wearing. We'll call it a. What color we're going to? We're not calling it pink. We'll call it
lavenderish.
Lavenderish pink. So my Travelers Rest High School, I show up, and they just had a rack of tuxedos, depending on what size you wore. That's what color you got. I'm like a medium, and they put me in a rose-colored deal. I was like,
"Well, was it that color?"
Yes, the whole.
That
jacket.
must have been the skinny guy color.
The whole jacket.
Oh, the whole tux.
The whole tux. I look like I hated it. So in my senior picture, my senior picture, I look so angry. Because I'm like, this is what's going in the yearbook. I look like Harry and Lloyd.
So you saw me. I mean, I look like a circus clown.
Yeah.
Not much has changed. But I walk into the senior pictures.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, son, put on this shirt, put on this jacket. Okay, I put it on. And they're like, you are going to wear this tie because it matches your skin tone best.
I'm like, skin tone?
What the hell does that even mean? Give me a black tie.
Doesn't mean anything. We should wear a black tie. Yeah. And by the way, if you're watching on SEC Network and you see this picture right here, all you jacklegs who think we fake our Southern accent, that old boy right there, he ain't faking nothing.
Well, let me tell you about that old boy on that screen's accent is about 8 times more Appalachian pronounced than it is now.
We need to dig out the cassette tapes.
All my boys are like, you've lost your accent. I'm like, what the heck?
When I lived in Connecticut, they'd be like, we can't understand anything you're saying. I'm like, well, you should hear these boys back at Travelers Rest.